Are you right wing or left wing? Um, my favorite wings are, um, honestly, I really like buffalo wings.
Hi, and welcome back to Through the Muck and the Mire. I'm your host, David Hallfield. This episode is specifically geared towards parents and students, if you're old enough, in the state of Georgia. When I say if you're old enough, I mean high school students, because this is mostly relevant to them, but it's relevant to all students and teachers overall. Or not teachers, parents. My bad. So this is about milestones testing, which if you're a parent or a student, you know what milestones are. But if you're not, then it's Georgia's version of the federal mandated test, end of course testing that they give every year. This is on top of all of the other layers of testing that we have to give every single year, which I'll get to that in a minute. But basically what happened was back in the spring when COVID hit, Betsy DeVos from the Department of Education at the federal level said, you don't have to take this test for the springtime. And then now we've moved into a new school year. She's saying that's out the door. Like, we're going to do it this year. The state superintendent for the Board of Education of Georgia asked her, along with a lot of other people from other states, can we extend that to this year? Because like this year's obviously out of whack still. Like there are still schools that have been in and out of virtual and in person. There's COVID outbreaks and stuff like that. Obviously, like political climate's not conducive to learning as well. So basically, they feel like it's unfair for this test to even have to be taken, but especially if it is taken, it shouldn't weigh so much on their grade, because this test in Georgia is worth 20% of their final grade. So what ended up happening is DeVos said, make no mistake, if we failed it to assess students, it will have a lasting effect, blah, blah, blah. I already have an issue with that, because she says if we fail to assess students. I already mentioned briefly that we have layers on layers of testing that these kids have. You've got classroom level tests that the teachers come up with on their own planning. There's mandated district level tests. There's county level tests. There's state level tests, and I think 2 or more federal tests. One of which is not even relevant to their grade. It's just done to assess states, to grade states instead of grading the students. So she says, no, you're going to take this test, and it's going to be, she doesn't mandate how much it's worth, but obviously she probably wants it to be 20%. So the superintendent, Woods, came back and said, listen, my hands are tied. You're going to have to take this test, but I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that it's not so high stakes for our students. He said that the tests are not valid or reliable measures of academic progress or achievement, and we're taking all possible steps at the state level to reduce their high stakes impact. He went on to say that similar to the federal directive to administer standardized tests in the middle of a pandemic, insisting on high stakes consequences for those tests is unreasonable and insensitive to the realities of the classroom. I'm confident that our high school students whose GPAs and scholarships are riding on this decision would agree that 10% weight is still high stakes. I encourage all Georgians, whether they agree or disagree with my view, to provide their feedback through the public comments process and let their voice be heard. So, the public comments process is what I'm here to talk about. They open it up. It's open until November 16th. I will obviously link that somewhere for you to see and click on it. It's 3 quick questions, and it just asks you basically what your status is, what county you live in, and which one of the 3 grading options you want to choose: 20%, 10%, or 0.01%, which is the one that Woods is pushing. So it was originally 20% of the grade, especially for high school students that are trying to get scholarships, trying to get accepted to colleges, working on their GPAs in general. That's huge right now. So he said absolutely no to 20%. And then he tried to make it 0.01%, which is basically like, yeah, we're going to have to take this test. It's still going to assess them, but we're not going to make it determine their end of course test or their end of course grade, and possibly affect their future. The board came back and said 10%. So now here is the opportunity for the community to give their input. 3 quick questions. So please pass this video around. Take the few, like 5 or 10 seconds it takes to click it, answer the questions, and have your voice heard. Regardless of what your opinion is, everybody's voice needs to be heard. So thank you for listening. Again, please pass this around so more people hear about it. And enjoy your weekend and go Dogs.